I had a tough decision to make because it was going to be cloudy either way. It's southern Ontario, but I wanted to go see the eclipse. Um, it was going to be the only total eclipse, and I wanted to go to Niagara Falls because, well, the waterfalls. It'd be an amazing view, right? It'd be a view that no one in my generation really's not until 2133 maybe. Um, no one would see it until then. No one would be able to experience something like that until then. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna wake up early, make sure that I catch it, and I hope that you guys stick around to see if we get to see the eclipse through the clouds, because trust me, it was very cloudy. But before we even get there, I wanted to talk about one of the classic questions I heard when I went to see the eclipse, and it was um, the meaning of life, right? And some people were taking the religious aspect, others were taking the scientific one. I saw a lot of kids talking about the angle of the moon, its rotation, and how it lined up perfectly to cover the sun. And then I heard some other people who were talking about, what are the odds of this happening? And assigning meaning to that by saying, you know what, it had to have been made that way. There has to be some sort of divine intervention that made the world like that. Anyway, here I am in Niagara Falls, and I thought, you know what? It was very early in the morning, cold, super cold, but I'd never seen the falls when it was this cool. Usually I go during the summer, but yeah, it was still cold out there, and you can see the beautiful scenery here. And it's funny because whenever you see things that are this amazing, that's when you start questioning the meaning of everything, right? Like, what am I living for? What are my goals? What's my effect gonna be? And I wanted to approach this from a bit of a different angle, so I hope you guys stick around and listen to what I have to say and tell me if you agree or not. But in my opinion, whether you're religious or an atheist, I don't think it matters at the end of the day. I don't think it matters in terms of an individual's life goal. Um, because think about it, no matter how you look at it, so let's pretend I'm religious, right? I'll want to do everything in my power to get to heaven. I'll want to be a good person. I'll want to leave the world a better place by the time I'm dead compared to when I was first introduced to it, right? I would have wanted to do everything by the book, by whatever religious book you follow. Um, and all of them are positive, right? All of them talk about sharing, helping other people. So, from a religious standpoint, it doesn't really matter what I believe in specifically, but more what the effect I have is. Um, and then you go to the atheist side, right? The side that doesn't believe that God exists. Well, if you think about it from that perspective, it's it's the same thing, because hey, if the moment I die everything ends, if there's no God, if there's nothing, then time is fleeting. I don't have that much time on earth, so I want to use as much of that time as possible to help the world, to help my friends, my family. Um, and you see how we kind of get to the same conclusion at the end of the day, which is to be a good person and leave the world a better place. Um, so yeah, in my opinion, it doesn't matter what religion you follow, whether you follow no religion. Um, I think at the end of the day, we assign a specific meaning and a reasoning behind the meaning, but the overall effect that we have will be pretty similar, um, on an individual level, right? And look at the falls here, you know, absolutely beautiful. You could hear the birds. It was super loud. This like cyan colored water, completely beautiful. Anyway, I also wanted to touch on my opinion when it comes to, let's say, the different possibilities. So to be completely transparent with you guys, I was born in a Muslim family, and I was very religious when I was younger, but that kind of changed. I'd say I got to the point where I was agnostic, but I could never get to the point where I was an atheist. And I'll tell you why. The reason why is, if anyone has actually studied science and actually understands the concept of science, one of the first things you learn is there's no set truth. Things are true until they're proven untrue. For example, gravity works on Earth, and if we weren't able to know how gravity worked everywhere else, we would think that it would be the same constant. If we didn't really understand the concept of gravity, we would assume that gravity here is the same as gravity on every other planet. Of course, that's not true, but you know, go back to like the 1700s, maybe that's what everyone believed was true. And just because something is true in our surroundings does not mean it's true everywhere in the world, right? And that's one of the main things that science talks about. It's, if we can reproduce the same experiment and get the same results 10,000 times, then we're pretty certain that it's consistent and it's true. But if on the 10,001th experiment the result we get is not one that we expected, then the 10,002nd time you do the experiment, you get a different result again and again and again. You have to now scrap everything that happened in the first 10,000, because obviously your calculations were not correct. Something was wrong there. Maybe something changed in the environment, and now you have to account for it. Maybe something changed in some other circumstance, some other variable changed. And I know this is very long-winded, but I think to be completely atheist is as unscientific as being completely religious, because you can't say that there's a 0% chance that God doesn't exist. Because the whole concept of it is it's not measurable by us, right? God has exists in a... And by the way, here we are. It was very cloudy, but we got the eclipse. I had to change the exposure to get some of this, but every like 5 minutes we'd get a little pocket in the clouds where we would still be able to see the eclipse, and it was amazing. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. Sorry, I got sidetracked there, but saying that there's a 0% chance that God exists is as unscientific as saying there's a 100% chance that he does. Because the whole concept of it is the fact that it's unmeasurable by science. He's supposed to exist in a plane, in a dimension, in a whatever you want to call it, in some other immeasurable way that we can't even fathom. So to say that there's no proof that God exists, therefore God doesn't exist, is not something you can say, right? Now, I'll gladly admit there's probably a 0.000000001% chance that God exists, but you can't say that it's a flat 0%. Um, and that's why the farthest I'll ever go is to the agnostic side, right? Um, and wow, what a scene this was. We went completely dark within minutes. You could see the falls, you could see the eclipse, and you could see all the telescopes, everyone filming, everyone being excited, everyone screaming. This was definitely an experience. It felt like nighttime. The lights came on. Everyone was yelling. And it felt like a group event too, because there's so many people in Niagara Falls. And here we are. There it is. Totality right there. Wow. Wow. Now at this point, I wanted to experience it for myself. I turned off my camera and I just experienced it. So we're gonna skip forward a bit here, but yeah, it really gets you thinking, right? If you do want me to speak more about these things in the future, maybe like a calm, reflective type video such as this one, where we explore, deeper conversations, deeper meaning, just let me know because I got plenty of this. But my conclusion is we assign meaning. And as long as the meaning is a good meaning, it doesn't matter how you assign it, whether people agree with you or not. What matters is how you act on that meaning that you've assigned for yourself, right? So if your meaning is to help other people in your life and it's got nothing to do with God, do that, right? And if it does have something to do with God, then do that as well. But I'm willing to bet in any case, as long as you follow through with your meaning and you're aware of it and you're conscious of it every single day, that you'll have a positive effect on the world. But yeah, something like this makes us think of how tiny we are in the whole universe, how little our conflicts matter. I'm having an argument with my mom or something. Does it really matter at the end of the day? Can we not just like in the moment it feels like the biggest thing ever because that's my mom. Say hi to Diva, by the way. But in the grand scheme of things, if we all zoom out a bit, we realize how little those tiny things really play in the story of our world, of Earth, of our lifetimes. And we start thinking about, where are the positives here? How can I increase the positives and decrease the negative? And whether that means even making your cat happy right here, wrestling with her a bit. She's a real personality. She's super fun. Or if it means helping out your friends, or if it means succeeding, or if it means discovering some new tech for the world to use, discovering some new scientific method, whatever it is, right? As long as we work towards it, I guess. But yeah, here's some few pictures that I really enjoyed. This one's pretty funny because someone added someone added that at the end, so that was cute. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I wish I could talk more about this, but 15 minutes, that's all I got today. So if you want to hear me talk about this in more detail, because this was very surface level, if you want to talk, if you even want to talk about it, put it in the comment section below. But thank you for sticking around, and yeah, that was a beautiful event. I do not regret using my whole day just to see that. Anyway, peace.